to go. There are a couple guys that I'm not sure you guys know about that I'll put out there, but Blake Bell had an appendectomy, and that's why he wasn't at practice. And then Mike Edwards had a hamstring. McDuffie had this stress on his fibula. He should be okay, though. I mean, all these guys should be okay once we get down the road. Pacheco had shoulder surgery, you know that. Trey Smith had a tricep that he hurt, strained it just a little bit during the latter part of camp. The Jarius Sneed's knee, we've kind of backed off of him to make sure that we kept the swelling down there. And then Wharton had the knee surgery. So those are kind of the primary guys that didn't work or worked just partially this camp here. But it was good to get the guys out there working. They pushed themselves. They challenged each other within the rules that were given here. So, and it's a good foundation to take up to training camp. You know, they've got to maintain it here now for the next 4 weeks, but they'll do that. They'll take a little time off and then get back cranking and come back ready for camp. But we've got plays in we wanted to. The scheme evals that we did from last year were all covered, and we're ready to go. We just got to get through the next month here. So with that, time's yours.
Andy, the injured guys you just mentioned, you expecting any of those guys to be ready to go when you?
Yeah, most of them will be ready to go. I mean, there are a couple of them we just have to see on. So I'll get you that though day one when we get back.
Coach, what's some of your biggest takeaways that you saw from some of the rookies and first-year players that you had a chance to see during training camp?
Yeah, I thought they handled the load of, the plays without picking out specific guys, but in general, that's what you look at. If they make a mistake, are they going to make the mistake twice? And I felt like they worked their way through it and did a pretty good job with the retention part and accuracy within the play. So.
Andy, how much more comfortable, excuse me, do you think Skyy is overall? His whole demeanor seems different, just even in here speaking to us.
Yeah, Skyy was targeted quite a bit this preseason. He was one of the higher targets this preseason. He had most catches, or close to the most catches. So I think he's taken a good jump. Most of all, the quarterback trusts him, so he was willing to throw the ball. That's why I mentioned the number there. So. The quarterback's not going to throw it to you if he doesn't trust you.
And you feel like he's, just in his familiarity with everything, does that really
Sure,
show?
way different. But listen, still a ton of room to climb and grow. He's so willing, though. And you got a chance to see one of the good parts of his personality is when everything was going wrong last year with the punt returns, he didn't let that bother him. He came back and he'd have a big catch in the same game. And and that was all new territory for him with these punt returns. But, the resiliency and able to kind of focus back in, that's a good quality to have.
Andy, understanding you guys haven't been playing real football out there, but
Yeah.
have you seen anything from Clyde during OTAs that would lead you to believe things are going to be different for him?
I thought Clay came back in good shape. It was great for him to get all the reps that he did. He did a nice job with it. Obviously, he's talented. So, really, for all those running backs, it's just a matter of getting out there. That when things are flying, especially around their legs, and that they've got to make sure that they keep that. But he's proven that he's good with all that too. So.
And you with the defense, I know you guys have been doing mostly 7-on-7 passing. So, have you seen that secondary just from the offensive vantage point of how they've improved since last season?
Yeah, they know what they're doing now, which is a big plus. This time last year, everything was new to them, and there were quite a few busts. You don't see those right now. They're pretty sound with what they're doing there. I like the improvement that they've made.
Coach, we just got through mandatory camp. You didn't mention Chris Jones.
So Chris wasn't here, and kind of like last year, same type of deal. So that's his choice. So he chose not to be here. But
Coach,
I'm sure he'll be at training camp.
I'm sorry, could you talk about the ring ceremony and just having it here during this time when everybody can be here?
Yeah. So, and we invite the people back that were with other teams. now, so it'll be a little bit like what went on at the White House, but they're coming back to Kansas City. I think it's a great deal. I think the Hunts have put together a real nice night for the guys, and I think when it's all said and done, you'll be able to hear that response from them. It's a nice plan there.
Just wanted to make sure I understood you correctly on Chris. You said you're sure it'll be a training camp.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about anything. I'm not sure I'm gonna be there, but I mean, I gotta get through. I wish I could predict that, but I think he's, there's a chance he's not. We'll see.
So, I mean, I know it's Brett's deal, really, but your feelings are pretty good right now on that front as far as camp goes?
Yeah, I don't even deal with it. I mean, I let Brett and his group deal with it. If you're there, you're there, and if you're not, we keep going. It's one of those deals. So they'll work all that out. They're communicating, so that's important.
What's your communication with Chris been about all this?
Make sure you're in shape.
Andy, could you share any of your thoughts and emotions directly after the Super Bowl victory and as the night went on? That's a tense thing you just went through, and then the game's over. Where are you?
Yeah.
You think about how much fun you had, you think about how relieved you are. What goes through your head?
Yeah. Well, you have the big party afterwards that goes on all night, and then Ted gets me up I don't even go to sleep. I mean, but Ted's knocking early in the morning for a press conference. So.
What were you thinking? You're talking to people, you're backslapping, but are there anything you can share about?
Yeah, you feel like you've accomplished something. Obviously, you're happy most of all for the guys that have gone through this thing and endured to the end. It's a long haul. There are a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things that you got to work through, whether it's personally or playing wise. You've got to work through all that stuff, and so these guys are humans. They all have. Everybody has issues.
Do you replay any of the decisions that you made and think, oh man, that was like a
not at that
great
moment.
Call,
No, not at that moment. I mean, you're just happy to be there, right there. Yeah. It slows down a little bit the second time. I can tell you that. You can enjoy it a little bit more. So.
With that in mind, you guys have been enjoying a lot of the success, and from a national perspective, it looks like a lot of celebration. That being said, you have football to focus on.
Yeah.
How have you been able to manage all of the celebration with trying to get the job done?
Yeah, I look at what's real. I mean, we had 99% of the team here, with the exception of Chris. Everybody was here and working hard, and so that's the important thing to me. I mean, everything else we can talk about, but they're here working, and we've got good leadership in that locker room. They know this is all nice. White House was nice. This is going to be nice tonight, but that's history. It's all been done. Now it's forward, and that's the way they've approached this offseason. It's been fun to watch.
Coach, your rookie class last year, they talked about wanting to make their own statement build their own legacy with what they did last year, helping the team win the Super Bowl. How do you have them, with the experience that they did last year, share that with the rookie class this year, and also keep them motivated to try to go back and run back like that?
Yeah, you've got guys they're motivated guys. I mean, you start with a quarterback and Trav. They've been through the whole thing, so they know what it takes to get there, and they're able to communicate that, and they do that. And I mean, we've got a bunch of guys that were there, and they understand the trials and things, the energy that it takes to get there. So that's the way they've. Listen, I'm aware of all that. I get to see it every day, and then I get to see them go out there, as some of you guys did. You got to see them go out there and compete, and I'm having to slow them down, but because of the rules, and which is a good thing. So it's they want to challenge each other and go fast and all that. So sometimes you got to pump the brakes there a little bit.
Have you seen the trailer for the Netflix special that Patrick's going to be a part of? And they were kind of around last year, I guess, shooting some of this stuff. What are your thoughts about that, and how interested are you to watch this or will you?
I don't know if I'll watch it, but he handled himself right, so it didn't affect anybody. And those guys did a nice job of kind of staying away. Everything was distant, or our own people, working through our own people here. So it wasn't a distraction. Like some of those things can be a distraction. This wasn't a distraction. And, you know, whatever turns up, but it's, you know, he handled it the right way.
Coach, it looked like you found a lot of work for Skyy Moore during this game. And I know, hey, still need to get the pads on the seat, but what did you kind of learn about him, especially maybe his future as a left tackle?
Yeah, I like him. I like his ability. I think that was a good pick there. So we'll just see how it all works out once we get going. But he held his own. He rotated in a little bit with the ones, and as Andy does, he kind of gets everybody going there. So I'm curious to see how he does once we get going. And he's tired, and mentally and physically. Let's see what happens then.
We got three more. We'll go Aaron, Vahe, and then.
I know you all had the conditioning test today. What is it, and maybe how has it changed over your years of coaching?
Yeah, this isn't even a test today. This is just the test is when they get back. This is just something I try to give them all the things that they're going to see at camp in some form. This is a short version of it, but it gives them an idea where they're at and what they need to do in the next 4 weeks to get themselves ready for camp. So it's really not, we don't grade them on this or anything. We just let them go, and it's really self for each one. You might be able to do that. Huh?
Andy, a few weeks to camp now. Are you able to? Do you want to disconnect? You know, shut down a little bit yourself and get away from everything, or how do you balance that? Do you have to think about how you do it?
I don't have to think too hard. I'll take a little time. Yeah, most of the coaches take time now. You know, this was a shorter off season because of what we went through. So the coaches jumped right into free agency and then the draft stuff, evaluation stuff, and then the OTA. So there hasn't been a ton of time off for them. So this gives guys an opportunity to get away. Gives me an opportunity to get away.
Will there be a day or two you don't even draw on napkins? I mean, do you find a way to just not do anything?
Listen, I normally take the mornings and for an hour or two and knock some stuff out, and then I'm good the rest of the time. Yeah.
Okay, so you won't.
I'm at the beach, but I'm not really. You know, I don't have that beach body.
Last one, Sam.
And just the second time being a defending Super Bowl champion, obviously, I know you guys had a good regular season last time, but do you learn anything that you change as far as beyond scheme, like messaging type of stuff between now and training camp? And time period?
As far as scheme, I mean, we try to change that up every year a little bit. I mean, you're going to have your base plays, but then we try to add a bunch of new stuff in there. It keeps everybody alive. And then I'm short and sweet on messages. I think the truth happens on the field. You know, toughness it's one thing to talk about toughness, but reality is you got to go do it, show it. And then when you invest time in something, then you're less likely to put out a poor performance. You take a lot of pride in that. And so time and effort become a big part of being a professional football player. You know, so that's I don't do a lot of talking. I don't do a lot of talking to them. It's more, this is what we're going to do. Let's go. Do it with some energy. You know, be an energy giver, not an energy taker, and let's roll.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
I can take a phone call. Oh, he going through injuries? All right, I'm out. Yeah, step outside. Yeah.